everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today we just kind of wanted to do a wrap up of our adventures across the United States.
Yep, so today we're just going to go over what we call the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we spent approximately about 2 months traveling across the United States. We started in North Carolina, went as far west as Wyoming, and then down south and back across the U.S. So I'm just going to give you a quick lineup of statistics of our travels. So we traveled through 16 states. We stayed in 13 of those states. We actually became residents of the state of South Dakota. We visited 9 national parks, 1 state park, Custer State Park in South Dakota, went to 1 state fair, Illinois State Fair in Springfield, Illinois. We rode a gondola up mountains in New Mexico that we went up over 10,000 feet. We visited state museums. We went to a Major League Baseball game in Cincinnati. As far as hotels are concerned, we stayed in 11 hotels, 1 Airbnb, and at 1 friend's house, for a total of approximately 2 months or 9 weeks. And we traveled all this way in our car, Subaru Outback, with almost all of our personal belongings in the back of the car.
Yeah, so just to circle back on South Dakota, as if you're following the channel, you know that we've sold everything that we own, and we'll be doing what we call slow travel in Southeast Asia and other areas. While we're gone, we're going to take advantage of a mail service that all of our mail will go to, and one of the places you want to do that is in South Dakota. While we were there, we got our driver's license. South Dakota does not have any income tax, so if we, as residents of South Dakota, should we decide to retire there or keep our residency there, none of our pensions, Social Security, 401ks, or any of that will be taxed. So it was happened to be on the way, so it was a great fortunate for us that we could stop there along the way.
So first, I'm going to talk about the good of our trip. So we got to see places that we had never visited before, had a lot of new experiences. It really gave us a new appreciation for the diverse landscapes and our National Park Service, and the national parks that we have. It really opened our eyes because we'd never traveled across country in a car. We've always flown across country, of just how big our country actually is. I highly recommend doing it, and you'll just be amazed at all the places in between California and the East Coast. And just another thing was just that it really gave us an appreciation for the wonderful resource and treasure that our national park system is, and how it's available to everybody at a really reasonable price, and they've done a really good job to preserve the wilderness and national treasures in the United States. We got to meet lots of new people, experience new food, and as a couple, I think it strengthened our relationship because we had to rely on each other and be with each other a lot in the car together alone. We saw some amazing wildlife, and we're able to observe the wildlife in their natural habitats. It kind of goes back to, we both have said this before, that it kind of brought us back to the quote that life's a journey, not a destination. We learned to laugh a lot at ourselves because we had a lot of time in the car together. And so it was all about getting to the places that we went to. The other thing is we really planned it out really well, and we set up a budget and tried to follow it as best we could. And we also spent a lot of time strategizing or using strategies to use our points through IHG, which is the Holiday Inn brand hotels, through a credit card. And Lon's going to talk a little bit more about that, about how we made this trip affordable for ourselves using our points and our credit cards. We also, at the end, we stayed in an amazing Airbnb outside of Denver, Colorado, which was a nice end of our trip, which was a nice rest because visiting that many states, 16 states, and staying in 13 different states over a 9-week period kind of is taxing and can be hard. So we didn't do slow travel, we did quick travel across the United States.
Exactly. So that was the good. Now for the bad and ugly. As Teresa just said, it was a lot of travel, and we were on the road a lot. We drove in our car across all these states. So, it wasn't exactly slow travel. We would be at some hotels maybe one night, maybe 4 nights. So I was packing up and felt like we're, on the go. So that, obviously that means, packing up your suitcases or taking a carry-on and just, packing everything that you needed to check in a hotel, then to go right back out. It just seemed like the next day we were packing back up. Across the plains, you could go you had to pay attention to the signs, because you would go a long way before you might come to another rest area or gas station. So we always had to make sure that we had a full tank of gas, and to make sure we had enough fuel to make the trip to the next state or to our next destination. We used the IHG program, hotel program and cards to book most of our stays there. And they are made up of the Intercontinental Hotel, the Crowne Plaza, Holiday Inn and Suites, and the Staybridge Suites.
And other brands.
And other brands. Not all hotels, though, are as nice in some states as they are in others. So, sometimes we're a little bit surprised. We had a clean place to sleep, but sometimes it would just, maybe not as clean as the previous hotel. Finding foods that we could eat. If you are someone who's traveling across country, and you have dietary restrictions or special food or allergies or things that you can or can't eat, then you definitely need to plan for it. We were smart. We visited grocery stores. We packed snacks. We packed drinks. So that did help us. But along the way, if there was a special restaurant or area we needed to go, we made sure we did that.
Yeah, I'm the one who's guilty of the food allergy, so sometimes it was hard for me to find food to eat. But like Lon said, we really had to plan out. A lot of times I was at grocery stores searching for the types of foods that I can eat. And some of the hotels were actually accommodating. They actually had gluten-free and dairy-free options for me. Other times not. So I just kind of had to plan ahead and roll with the punches.
Yeah. And again, we were smart. If we could take water, snacks, fruits with us from the hotels and take them on the road with us, we certainly did. And as Teresa mentioned before, we try to do this on a budget. So staying at these IHG hotels, we weren't right next door or inside some of these national parks or main attractions. Sometimes we had to drive 30, 45 minutes, even an hour or so to get to some of these parks so that we'd be neutral between visits. Like if we're staying in one town, we might drive 45 minutes north one day and then another 45 minutes south the next day, so that we could take in multiple attractions while we're at a particular hotel. As far as the ugly, well, kind of good and bad, but Yellowstone was very memorable for us. We did enjoy 2 very nice days in Yellowstone, but also turned out to be the ugly part of the trip. While we were staying in Togedy Lodge in Moran, Wyoming, which was about an hour from Yellowstone, there was a local wildfire. It was called the Fish Creek Wildfire. I think it burned for most of the summer or the later parts of the summer. For family and friends who know me, I suffer from asthma. So here we are at elevations between 10,000 to 13,000 feet above sea level. So getting used to that air. We've got smoke in the area that bothered both Teresa and I. And then on the second day there, we started to develop COVID. So we had a lot going on there. We had to cut our trip short. Instead of spending 3 to 4 days in Yellowstone, we spent 2 days there, drove to Salt Lake City. In Salt Lake City, we were going to go visit a couple other parks and visit some of the area, but we were both under the weather with COVID. We basically just stayed in the hotel for 4 or 5 days, while we recovered. COVID kind of wiped us out. We still enjoyed our days in Vegas and New Mexico. But by the time we got to Denver, I think COVID had a lasting effect on us. We're just kind of worn out from all the from all the trips across the states, and COVID just kind of wore us out there a little bit, and we were able to relax before we came back to travel to Malaysia.
Yeah, just a little note, just in case anybody's wondering. So we weren't diagnosed with COVID until we got to Salt Lake when we went to see a doctor at a primary care place. And we definitely quarantined, wore masks until we were both COVID free, didn't expose anybody, stayed in the hotel room, and ordered food in for a while. So I just wanted to add that little caveat there.
Yeah.
I didn't want people to think we were irresponsible.
Yeah.
So we didn't know we had COVID, or possibly we didn't even have it when we were in Yellowstone. We left because of the wildfires, and not smoke at the park, but smoke where we were staying at our accommodations.
True. Yeah, Yellowstone was very pleasant.
Yeah, so we didn't have any issues there. It was at our accommodation.
Okay, one question that we have from our family friends and some of the comments that we've read is, how do we budget for our accommodations and all the hotel stays throughout our trip and in the future going to Southeast Asia? And what we've done is we have become, we both got the IHG Premier One Rewards credit card. And when you purchase the card, you do become a Platinum Elite status right away, which is the second highest status that they offer. The card does come with a $99 annual fee, but with that, you also get one free hotel stay each year, which is up to 40,000 points. And when you factor in that each IHG point is 5 cents per point, that's a $200 value right there. So for $99 a year, you get a free $200 stay. Another thing that you'll get with that is you also get a $100 statement credit each year. So it's a no-brainer if you're traveling to the United States, and especially overseas or internationally, you got to get this card. It really is a no-brainer. Now, when you book with points with this card through the IHG program, every fourth night is free. Now, that's consecutive nights, so you'd have to book for 4 nights in a row. The fourth night would always be free. Okay. The great thing about this is when we travel internationally, there are no foreign transaction fees. And along the way, on the nights that you stay, you'll get certain milestone rewards as you stay 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 nights. You'll get either additional free points, or you might get a food and beverage rewards program. The thing that we aim for and that we accomplished while in the States is that we stayed at IHG for 40 nights. So with 40 nights staying on IHG property, we now get club access. That won't benefit us a lot in the United States, but we got it while we're in the States, so that when we travel internationally, a lot of their hotels over there have club access, which means for us, free breakfast, free snacks and drinks during the day, and then in the evening, cocktail hour, which provides you many finger foods, which basically is like having a free dinner. So that'll be really valuable for us. Now, if you look at the chart that we just put up, when we started, the welcome offer was 140,000 points. Okay. In addition to that, we each purchased 250,000 points per person. So when Teresa purchased 250, IHG matched it, and they gave her another 250 or 500,000 points. I purchased 250,000, $1 per point. So I got an additional 250,000 points. So in total, we got 1 million points for the cost of $5,000. And we'll go down and see exactly what does that get us here in a second. But with that $5,000 purchase, we got 3 times the points on the card, which gave us an additional 15,000 points. And Teresa was the first person who signed up for the card. She was able to refer me, which gave her 20,000 more points. So in total, we're starting out with 1,175,000 points for a total cost of $5,099. Now the average, most of the places we stayed in the United States were typically at a Staybridge Suites, which is one of my favorites, and Holiday Inn Express or a Holiday Inn or a brother or sister hotel to a Holiday Inn Express. The average was about 15,000 points per night, okay, which included the 4th night being free. So if you multiply 15,000 times 30 nights for 1 month, that's 450,000 points. A 2-month total staying at hotels every single night would be a total of 900,000 points. So if you subtract that from our initial point total, that's 2 months of hotel accommodations, and we still have 275,000 points remaining. As I mentioned before, when you book with points, your 4th night is always free, which gives you a free breakfast. Many hotels will have the free breakfast anyway, but now you have, you'll have other benefits with the lounge access, but most of the hotels are going to have a free breakfast. Plus, at the Staybridge Suites, on Monday through Wednesday in the evening, they also have basically a free dinner as well. So that was nice. Staying in the hotels rooms, the 40-50 nights, we did get a 40,000 point bonus for hitting those certain milestones. As I mentioned before, at the 40 nights, you do get the lounge access, which gives you free meals. And we've already discussed the $99 fee for the card. But with that, you're getting a $200 value stay, and you're also getting a $100 statement credit. Okay. So now we have the 275,000 points plus the 40. And now remember, Teresa referred me, so now we have an additional 140,000 points, which in total gives us 455,000 points to go book other hotels. And we will save those for traveling Southeast Asia. And again, keep in mind, hotel points in Southeast Asia are going to be quite a lot less than the 15,000 point average a night that we spent in the United States. We have seen hotels as low as 3,500 points a night, 5,000 points a night, 6,500 points a night. So more than half, or certainly half of those points in the example above, our points are going to go a lot further. I estimate in Southeast Asia, for that $5,100 initial investment that we had, is probably going to give us about 150 nights of hotel accommodations. But remember, it's more than just the hotel accommodation. We now have the lounge access. So we're getting the free breakfasts, we're getting the free snacks during the day, and we're getting, at the cocktail hour, we're getting finger foods, basically a free dinner whenever we stay at an IHG hotel with lounge access. But when we travel, we will be using the IHG card. The Hyatt has another great Hyatt rewards program. They have an excellent program as well. We'll talk more about that when we get overseas. But we also use our American Express Platinum and our Chase Business Preferred. We will provide as many links below if you're interested in these programs. If you've not done so already, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and leave in the comments any questions or concerns or general comments that you may have. But other than that, we really enjoy traveling throughout the United States. Our next stop is Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, so we can visit our son, his beautiful wife, and our granddaughter. So we're looking forward to seeing them. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, just
Okay.
thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you soon. And the next videos coming up will be in Southeast Asia.
Yep. Look out for a couple of hotel reviews, as long as places that we go and visit. Take care, everyone.